On the Road with Kelly and Bob is brought to you by Mueller Metal Roofs and Buildings. Made in America, made to last. Coming up on this episode...
A guitar is one of the most intimate instruments.
Hi, we're Kelly
and Bob Phillips, and we're on the perpetual road trip of America's back roads,
where the journey is always the destination. Thanks for joining us for this episode of On the Road with Kelly and Bob. And Bob, you know, music has always been one of those things that, you know, if I hear a song on the radio, it automatically takes me back to a certain time. And that's kind of how I view my life in a way.
I think we all do that. We assign certain songs to certain periods of our life, and we relive those when we hear the song. I'm one of those people that always has a song playing in my head. I can be sitting and having a conversation with you, and I'm still listening to that song. And
okay, so what song are you playing right now in your head?
Well, it happens to be Norwegian Wood, but you're going to find out here in a second why that is.
And sometimes we meet people that tell us the rhythm of their heart is a musical track. That's Peter Pringle singing what is generally believed to be the oldest known song in the world. The words and music were discovered on a clay tablet found in Syria and are thought to be 3,500 to 4,000 years old.
Peter is playing the long-necked lute, an ancient stringed instrument he made himself that looks somewhat similar to a guitar. And that is the sound of Gary Hudson playing a modern-day guitar, but not just any guitar.
Like Peter Pringle's lute, Gary put this instrument together himself. It's something that's been a part of him since he was a little boy.
When was the first time you remember having a guitar in your hand?
My mom and daddy surprised me with a guitar, and so they give me this guitar, and it's a Western Auto True Tone guitar. It was bought from the Western Auto hardware store.
About $30.
It had, about $30.
So you never had any formal lessons?
No, I was self-taught. I just watch and listen, you know. There was one time I tried to take guitar lessons. I want to take advanced guitar lessons. So I went to this jazz teacher there in Jacksonville, and I lasted 1.5 lessons because all he did was just play and show how great a player he was to me. He says, you need to play this and like this, and you need to do this and this. And then he would sit there and solo me almost the whole time and charge me money. And I thought, you know, I kind of like the way I'm doing it. 'Cause I was already making recordings and everything.
Even though guitar music has lived deep in his soul since he was a kid, Gary has not always made his living with the instrument, at least not full time.
In fact, he stopped playing completely for a while during his self-improvement period. But there was something about that sound that kept calling to him.
I almost quit playing guitar entirely for about 8 or 10 straight years.
Why?
Those are my seminary years. You know, I was working full-time, going to seminary full-time, trying to get a church, you know, and I was preaching, and then I took a church here, took a church there. So, you know, 3 churches from like 1982 to about 2008. You know,
okay, so these are your seminary years. You're working on your soul so you can work on other people's souls, but what does it do to your soul to give up the guitar?
Well, it wasn't like giving it up, like I never touched it again, but like every now and then there would be one in a church and I'd pick it up and play Amazing Grace for someone.
And then Gary came to realize that it wasn't just playing guitars that fed the very existence of his being. He found that he had a kind of reverence for the instrument itself.
And that making very special guitars available to others who revered the instrument, kind of like his former job as a Baptist preacher, gave him a kind of spiritual experience.
Now, I have built, like I said, built guitars from scratch, where I make the neck, I make the body, but it's too expensive. Nobody can, why not? You can buy excellent parts already made. You can save people all kinds of money by not having to build the thing yourself. I'm a guitar tech, okay? I don't really think of myself as a luthier, even though everybody calls me a luthier, all right? See, a luthier is something to me that's more specialized than what I do. A luthier is somebody that can make an acoustic guitar. That's what a luthier is to me. I am a guitar tech.
But you've made
I have
guitars.
made some guitars, yes, but I don't do it for a living, all right? I don't really make it. I build Stratocasters, Telecasters, and basses. Here are 4 guitars I've built. And I build these. Now, these I built for myself, but I build them for customers also. They bring me all the parts for their dream guitar. These guys stay up all night looking at guitar parts and pickups on the internet, and then they buy all this stuff, and I think Gary can put that together for me. So this is what I am. I'm a tech. See, I worked on slightly over 6,000 guitars since January of 2012.
When Gary Hudson talks about assembling one of his custom-made instruments inside his shop, here at Folkstone Guitars in Tallahassee, Florida, you immediately sense that he is personally involved with each and every guitar he picks up.
And like an auto mechanic that is almost in awe of the individual parts and products that make his vehicle perform better than the rest, Gary talks about bridges, pickups, and stainless steel frets, so much that, well, he kind of loses us in the conversation. No matter, though, because it's the sounds he can create that matter most.
And so you can get any sound you want out of this, even an acoustic guitar sound. Yes, sir.
You can get an acoustic
I'll demonstrate it.
from a solid body Stratocaster.
Because it has an X bridge. This is a Baggs X bridge. It has the piezo saddles. Okay, so I'm going to plug it into the acoustic amp here. We're going to plug this one. Now I'm stereo. I'm running acoustic out one side, and I'm still running pickups here. See? Still running pickups, okay? But if I want to run acoustic, I'm going to turn my acoustic amp on now. And let me grab a pick. And out of this output, I'm going to turn the pickups off. Okay, they're off now. The pickups are off with that volume, okay? Yes.
I had a feeling.
Guitars are about music. You see the big poster I made for myself up there? Guitars are about music. All right, I don't want anyone to forget that. Because in a day when there's so much marketing and the company's constantly bombarding you with ads, you need a new guitar, you need this shiny one and all that, we tend to lose sight of the fact that guitars are about music. The reason I've got the number of guitars I have is because each one has a different voice. And I have a choir, and I put those together on recorded music.
What is it about music and we humans?
Here's the great thing about music and why we need it now more than ever. All right? First of all, here's the great thing about it. it gets people together. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what country you're from. It doesn't matter what age you are, what sex you are. If you enjoy music, everybody that plays music needs people to enjoy it. And you have to have an audience. Why play it? So when you play it and people get together to come hear the music, it gets people together.
It seems like this is in your blood, though.
No, there's no doubt about it. I mean, there's nothing that gives me more pleasure than to watch, especially a young person. You know, someone's 12-year-old or 13-year-old that's taking lessons, and their guitar is hard to play, okay? And I tell them, I say, you know, it's hard to play a guitar. And they look at me, it is? I say, yeah, it's hard. But why make it harder? You know, let's get the strings close to the frets. Let's lower the action. Let's make it play like butter. Let's make it play like a push-button guitar, you know? Okay, so I set their guitars up for them, and when they pick it up and they sit over there and they try it out, and Mom, it's so easy now. You know, that is all the reward I need. I mean, that right there is what I'm about.
What is that?
Seriously.
How does that make you feel when you do that?
Euphoric. Euphoric. It's an epiphany. It's why I'm on the earth.
I mean,
To help everybody's guitars work for them and make music with them.
When we spent time with Gary Hudson in his shop there in northeast Tallahassee, it was like taking a class in guitar. Now, truth is, lots of what he talked about was so far over our heads, that tech speak and all that.
But the spirit of what he had to say about making the best instrument he can possibly make was not lost on us. Listen to what else he had to say just on the subject of fret wire.
This is my body jig. I just finished refretting this yesterday, and all I've got to do really is remove the strings and unbolt the neck, and it's done.
You do a lot of fret work.
Yeah, and I did 4 inlays on this one also. This is stainless steel a refret, and that's the player's choice these days because you know
It lasts
nickel,
forever.
It lasts virtually. I mean, you don't have to worry about a refret. I mean, it is possible to wear out stainless steel frets, but you have to be a pretty abusive player, you know, for a long time. Maybe
There
a
are
guy,
those out there.
Maybe a guy plays on one fret, one chord, you know, forever, a million times. Maybe there'll be a little ding in it, but it's nothing like nickel fret wire, which, because your strings, you see, your treble strings on a guitar are high carbon steel. So they're like saws into that nickel fret wire, and almost all guitars are, factory guitars are nickel fret wire. This guitar, this Stratocaster I put together that's hanging up here, was one that I just threw together from parts that I had around the shop. I had a body, I had a neck, I had a pick guard and pickups. And I put this together as a test module, because some people say stainless steel fret wire makes the guitar sound tinny or too bright, and that nickel's to be preferred over stainless. So okay, so there's this big difference between stainless and nickel, right? So the guitar has 21 frets. 11 of them are stainless steel, 10 of them are nickel, and they're mixed up. And I do not tell you which is which. They're all polished off the same. They all look the same. So I hand this guitar to someone who makes this claim. I said, now, tell me which frets are the nickel and which are the steel. I have a whole video on this. I had 6 really good players with great ears, top, you know, professional players from this area, come and participate in the test, and none of them could tell which were the stainless.
Your point is proven.
So I was reading some articles at a luthier's website, and he talked about using stainless steel fret wire. I'd never heard of this. He said the Germans make stainless steel fret wire now. They have for a few years, and you put that on a guitar and it's like permanent. So I wrote the guy and I ordered a roll of fret wire from him, and I refretted my Taylor guitar with it. And wow, I mean, to me, everything got better. The mid-range on the guitar, like Tommy Emmanuel says, who's a really great, world-renowned guitarist, he says that the steel fret wire is better for intonation. He's absolutely right. Better intonation. I like the tone of the steel fret wire. String bending, nothing to that on stainless steel. It's like glass, you know. I mean, how many auto mechanic car repair shops build cars? Not very many. They might have some hot rods out back they're working on.
But that's it.
All right, that's it. So this is my approach here. My business model is I am a repair shop. So I repair electronics, for example. I do everything from electronics to stainless steel reef frets to neck resets on Martin Guilds and Gibsons. So this is what I've been doing for years, and it's taken off with me. It's the one thing that I found I had a knack for. Now this guitar here, this is one I call the Scat Pack. This is the last Strat that I built.
It's beautiful.
This is going to be the last guitar I build for myself. I'm done building guitars for myself. Okay, I will still, of course, build guitars for customers. The way this works is a customer comes in, says, I want you to build me a Stratocaster. It's just one guitar, for example, or a bass. Okay, so we sit down right here, we have a conference, and we go through on the screen all kinds of options for necks, bodies, fret wire, tuners, pickups, control pots, colors, you name it. And then they pick out from the companies I recommend you get the parts from. We pick out the neck, we pick out the body, we pick out all the parts. We make a long list, and then I email all the links to the customer. And he orders all the parts, brings them to me, and for a fee, depending on what type of build it is, will determine that fee. I build the guitar for him. So this is the way I build them now. So this guitar has some extra horsepower because it's got this compressor. All right, so if you have it plugged in, I can give you an example of what I'm talking about if you want.
Sure.
Yes.
Love to hear this.
If you, this thing's got some great sounding pickups. So, let the tube damp has to warm up here, and it's coming. That's my bridge pickup there, the humbucker, and of course I've got the compressor off right now, but you can. All right, now if I was to do that with the compressor on. See what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
And then when you
Oh my gosh!
and then when you put it on overdrive, it really gets singing. So that's the Scat Pack, and this one I'm not selling.
That's your forever guitar.
This is my trophy guitar.
Your trophy
My
guitar.
trophy guitar.
Gary, I don't see a Sears Silvertone anywhere in
A
the
Sears Silvertone?
in the shop here.
It's inside, right?
If you hang around long enough, you will see one because one was brought to me in the original amp case and everything.
No.
Yeah, and those are very valuable, by the way.
Do you know what year this one is?
Oh, it was probably a 65 that he brought me.
Which is what back then
Yeah,
every garage band started with.
Yeah, the guitar was made by Den Electro, and it was a Sears Silvertone.
What does all this do for your soul? What's it mean to you?
Freedom that I've never felt in my life, for one thing. For one thing, I am a free thinker now, and that really helps. But the freedom of music, playing guitar is kind of like the feeling you get on a nice fair weather day on a good bike ride in the Canopy Roads. That's the way it is playing a guitar to me. It's a connection, it's a feeling of freedom. We live in a really crazy world today, okay? And you got to escape from it in a safe way, in a way that's good for you. And the best way to do that is either listen to, if you don't play music, listen to a lot of music.
And you don't have to twist my arm, Gary, to listen to a lot of music. Between reading and listening to music, I'm amazed that I can find time to do much else in life.
And thanks for joining us for this episode of On the Road with Kelly and Bob. And don't forget to download that free Odyssey app and listen to us anytime, anywhere.